Welcome back to the kitchen. We are just getting set up here to make another batch of pomegranate jelly, and we'll give you a full walkthrough on how that process works. Last year when I made a how to make pomegranate jelly video, I condensed it into about 10 minutes. And if you're looking for something short, I'll put a link to that video and you can watch that one. This will be a more lengthy and complete walkthrough. This is a double batch, which will be 12 jars of jelly. So I'm working from left to right. So I've got my ingredients set up to the left of the stove. Pot for the jelly, pot to process the jars, ladle, tongs, funnel, and then over here I'm just starting to soap up and wash jars and rings, and we'll get the lids in there. Jars are reusable, don't have to buy new jars. And rings are reusable. But we always buy new lids, so we always get new boxes of lids every time. That's one item that can be compromised, and you don't want it to fail to seal your product. So once you've processed it and sealed it, it can stay on the shelf for a year, but not if the lid is warped or didn't seal properly. That's when you run into dangers of introducing bacterias or having your product not be preserved but rotting instead. Anyway, new lids. Get all that soapy water off. I want these jars to stay hot, so I'm going to fill them and the sink with hot water. At the end of the process of making the jelly, we want to put hot product in hot jars. So I'm going to keep my jars hot just by filling them with hot water. I'll take them out when it's time to fill them with the jelly. Meantime, the rings and lids are all lined up over here. And this is just readying before I've even started jelly. Having washed lids and jars and rings, I'm now ready to start on the food section of this, and I'm gonna get myself 10 cups of sugar in this bowl so that it's ready when I need it, because I don't want to measure right when I need it. I'm gonna measure in advance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is, once again, in case I didn't say it already, a double batch of pomegranate jelly, or 12 half-pint jars. Next, I'll measure out the pomegranate juice. For this, we need 7 cups. So we'll go up to that 4-cup line and then measure again to the 3-cup line. There's 4. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the stove top. That can start warming up. Now the 3. I pour off the top of the pitcher. You can see maybe this line right here. Down there is where
other aspects of fruit settle. When you squeeze your pomegranate juice, you might get a little bit of the white rind and different things, but the juice that you want rises to the top. So I just pour from here, and then we still drink this. It's really good. Okay, down 3 cups. Okay, that's 7 cups altogether. This pectin comes in a nice big, how many ounces is that? 5.5. And it's powdery. I'm going to use 6 tablespoons per batch. This is a double batch, so I'm going with 12 tablespoons altogether. So I always have extra jars on hand, because I've already done a few rounds of batches of jelly already. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. 6. Okay, the rest of this one. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all that powdery pectin needs to dissolve in the warm juice here. I now have the burner on high, and when this starts to form little bubbles, I am going to toss that whole bowl of sugar into here. Well, pour it in, I won't toss it in. It doesn't have to be boiling yet, it just needs to be warm and the pectin dissolved. And then you can add the sugar. I'm starting to see some steam. When this starts to have a rolling boil after we've added the sugar, I'm talking in advance because when it really starts going, it might be too loud to hear my voice. But in a moment, I'm putting the sugar in. I'm going to bring it to a rolling boil. We're going to set the timer for 2 minutes. If you were only doing one batch, which is 6 jars, you would boil that for 1 minute. But when you double the batch, double your boiling time. So it's going to boil for 2 minutes, and then we'll take it off the burner and ladle it into our jars. And then just remember, hot product goes in hot jars. That's why we have them in the sink in that hot water until it's time to pull them out and use them. Okay, I'll go ahead and add that sugar now. In, then it'll start to heat up and we'll get it boiling. It starts to dissolve. One more tip, when you're doing a double batch, it's very easy to overboil the pot. I mean, it'll just come up and up and up and it won't come out. When those rolling boils are happening, if you continue to stir, stay with your pot, continue to stir, and also you can lift and pour in. And what that will do is cool it just enough that it won't boil over. So don't leave your pot, don't walk away. Alright, here comes some boiling. I'm going to set that timer for 2 minutes. And I'm going to turn this down just a tiny bit. Okay. And there might be a few tricks for not boiling over. And keep stirring. Full 2 minutes. Almost it. I'm going to set the camera down so I can move the pot off the burner when the timer rings. Oh, one more thing I forgot. Got all that pretty jelly in there, and then you have the foam. And all we do for that foam, so that the jelly that goes in the jar stays pretty, we scoop off the foam. Still keep it though. Last year I discarded it and down the sink, and the viewer said, keep that part. It's still edible, it just doesn't look pretty in a jar, that's all. And then we'll do the same if we end up with extra jelly beyond jars. We'll just throw it in a container also. So you usually do it in a Tupperware, a Rubbermaid container. Okay, that's gonna be good enough. This product, which is our pomegranate jelly, it's still gonna have an appearance of liquid. It's gonna jelly up a little later on in the process. Okay, and you fill it about, and just give yourself a little bit of room from rim to jar. It's going to take about 2 ladlefuls per jar. My wet cloth and I wipe around the rim, and then I put a lid on twist it super hard, just finger tight. And then they will go in the pot. I handle it with the wet cloth when I'm gonna do that twist. And I also wipe the jar a little bit just in case I spilled jelly on the outside of the jar. That water to be about 1 inch above the lids of the jars, and if it isn't, you can add more to it. So I'm not going to stick my finger in there, but this thing is about 1 inch. If I lower that down and see if it's completely submerged in water, which it is, then it's about as high as I need the water to be. So let's put the burner all the way on high and put the lid on. And don't start timing it yet. Wait until it starts to bubble. You can check once in a while. It'll get hot, so again, hold it with something that will protect your hands from the heat. And lift it and look at it and see if it's a rolling boil or not. Once it starts to boil, then you set your timer for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, the remaining product is going to go in a container in the refrigerator. And this is a part where you can lick the spoon if you want to and taste. That's good. Best jelly in the world. Let's check this again. Not yet. It's sure making a lot of noise though. It's going to be boiling soon. I'm going to get started labeling last night's jars because they're all cooled off now, and I want to put them in the pantry so that I have this space clear later when I get this next batch of jars out. So just put palm jelly, 10, oh man, I don't know the date. I'm just going to put 22 at the end, 10/22. What is the date? It's the 15th. Alright, I'm going to label all these and get them in the pantry. Still not rolling. Alright, starting to get some bubbles. Minutes. When those 10 minutes are over, keep the lid on. Get something safe for your hands, a pot holder, because these get hot, the handles. And carefully, it's full of water and you don't want it to spill, carefully take it off of that hot burner onto a different burner. And it can start to cool down. Let it cool for about 5 minutes before taking the lid off, and then you can take your jars out. So now it's time to take the lid off. That's the sound of the lids popping. So now they're sealed. All right, that's it. You just wait for them to cool off, and